My landlord told everyone at the building meeting I was getting evicted for being broke. I smiled and said nothing. 48 hours later, I owned the building. I'd been renting Unit 4B for 3 years. Quiet tenant, paid on time, never complained. The building was old but clean. Hardwood floors, big windows, the kind of place you don't find anymore in the city. I liked my neighbors. Mrs. Park in 2A made kimchi every Sunday. The couple in 3C had a dog that barked at delivery guys. It felt like home. Then Vincent bought the building last year. New owner, mid-40s, drove a Tesla, wore designer tracksuits to check the mail. He immediately raised rent by $200 across the board. Said he was modernizing the property. What he actually did was install a fancy digital directory nobody asked for and paint the hallways gray. He loved making announcements. Every little thing required a building-wide email, new trash schedule, reminder about guest parking, photos of someone's packages left in the wrong spot. He signed every email V. Morrison, property owner, like we might forget. Last Tuesday, he calls a mandatory tenant meeting in the lobby. The email said it was about upcoming renovations. 20 people showed up, some still in work clothes, others holding dinner plates because he scheduled it for 6 p.m. Vincent was standing by the mailboxes in his tracksuit and white sneakers, holding a clipboard. He had this grin on his face like he was about to announce something huge. The lobby felt too small with everyone packed in there. "Thanks for coming," Vincent started. "I wanted to talk about the building's future. We're going upscale, real upscale. Granite countertops in every unit, new appliances, premium finishes." People glanced at each other. That sounded expensive. "Now, some tenants can't keep up with market rates," Vincent continued, his voice getting louder. Then he looked directly at me. "4B here is getting priced out. Sad, but that's life in the city. Can't stand in the way of progress." The room went quiet. Mrs. Park turned to look at me, her face full of sympathy. Vincent kept going. "Building's going upscale. Can't have dead weight holding us back. Some people just aren't cut out for premium living." He stared right at me, that smug grin plastered on his face. I stood there holding my coffee mug, old ceramic thing with a chipped handle. Didn't argue, didn't defend myself, didn't explain that I'd never been late on rent in 3 years. Just nodded once and walked back upstairs while everyone watched. Here's what Vincent didn't know. My uncle died 6 months ago. Lung cancer, quick and brutal. He never married, no kids. I was the only family who visited him during those last weeks at hospice. He left me everything. His house in the suburbs, his savings, his investment accounts. I'd been quiet about it, didn't change my life, didn't quit my job, kept living the same way. Same routine, same grocery store, same chipped coffee mug. The money just sat there in accounts I barely looked at. That inheritance? 7 figures. Not billionaire money, but enough to never worry about rent again. I'd been thinking about investment properties for a few months. My financial advisor kept suggesting real estate. Steady income, good tax benefits, relatively safe. I'd been looking at buildings in the area. Vincent's building was actually decent. Good location, 2 blocks from the subway, solid structure, no major issues. The tenants paid reliably. I knew because I was one of them. It was exactly the kind of property my advisor said to look for. So I called my lawyer that night, explained the situation. He laughed for a solid minute, then made some calls. By morning, we had an offer ready. All cash, 15% above Vincent's purchase price, close in 48 hours with no inspection contingency. Vincent's holding company accepted by Wednesday morning. They didn't even counter. Cash talks. Thursday afternoon, Vincent gets the sale notification from his own property management company. Then he sees my name on the paperwork. My phone rings at 2:47 p.m. It's Vincent. His voice is shaking. "You bought my building?" I took a sip of coffee. Same chipped mug. "Yeah, market rate's tough, right?" Silence. Then breathing. Then, "Can we talk about this?" He shows up at my door an hour later. No tracksuit this time. Button-down shirt, dress shoes, sweating through his collar. He's holding his phone in both hands like a prayer book. "Look," he starts, voice completely different from Tuesday. "I was just trying to improve property value, nothing personal. You understand business, right?" I leaned against my door frame. Didn't invite him in. "I've got 3 kids," he continued. "Property management is my whole income. Maybe I could stay on, help with the transition. I know all the systems, the vendors, everything." I looked at him for a long second, watched him shift his weight, watched the hope drain from his face as the silence stretched out. Then I said no and closed the door. Mrs. Park brought me cookies that evening.